No, I have a blog also called The Paranormal Housewife, where I talk about paranormal things that are going on in our house, what it's like to live with spirits, how to ethically Hi my spooky darlings, welcome to my channel. I'm Kelly, the Paranormal Housewife. As most of y'all know, I have a blog also called The Paranormal Housewife, where I talk about paranormal things that are going on in our house, what it's like to live with spirits, how to ethically neighbor walking by. But in this house, you always have to double check to see what you're seeing out of the corner of your eye is actually there. But yes, there was a neighbor walking by. Speaking of activity in the house, things have been spiking a lot more than normal. And a lot of the behaviors that we've been seeing lately from the spirits that we share our home with are different than the things that they normally show us. Just some of the things that have been going on. Jeremy's wedding band. He takes it off occasionally when he's cooking, as do I, especially when we're making breads and things like that. He'll put his ring down. I usually put mine in a cup by the sink, and he usually puts his on the dishwasher. It's just a safe place. The cats don't go up there. And this one time he had taken it off. We couldn't find it. We looked through the house for a couple of weeks. We couldn't find it anywhere. It ended up being on the very top of one of the shelves in our kitchen. The shelf I can barely reach. So we know for sure it wasn't me putting it there in one of my brain fogs. And we know for sure that he didn't put it there because you can't even see it when it's up there. He just happened to be pulling a pot down and the ring came down at him. So that was weird. Jeremy's actually been hearing audible noises. They've called his name a couple of times. We've also been hearing voices, but we can't really tell what they're saying. He'll think that I'm calling him from the other room, or I think he's calling me from the other room, because even though it doesn't sound like our names, it kind of sounds like our voices, but it's not one of us calling each other. One thing I have talked before about is when you're downstairs, you can kind of hear footsteps. They sound like little kids running from what is my office through our bedroom and down the very short hallway we have into the bathroom. And normally you can only hear them when you're downstairs. And sometimes we like to say it's just the cats because we know they spend most of the time up there, but there are times that we can rule that out because both of the cats are downstairs with us. And the dog never goes upstairs unless we're up there. A couple of times lately, since I have been working out of that office more often, I can actually hear the footsteps beside me. They start up in the middle of the room, and I can hear them go through the bedroom, down the hallway, and into the bathroom. And I know it's not the cats, because Katniss will be in the tree beside me, and I know Bagheera's back in the bed, curled up under the blankets. So there's something, and we think that is just a memory. We don't think it's a active, intelligent spirit. It's just something that keeps going on. We have had the sensation of something sitting on our bed. Jeremy's commented on it a couple of times, and I've felt it as well once. And the thing with our bed, it's not your typical spring bed. We have a memory foam mattress, and we don't have a box springs. So memory foam shouldn't just collapse all of a sudden in one spot, and you really shouldn't be able to feel it. But this you can feel, and you can kind of see the indent when it happens. Of course, when it happens, we can never get our phones out fast enough to take a picture of it, and I don't have this camera upstairs often. Usually this stays downstairs so I can take it out when we go on our adventures. So still trying to document that, but it's happened a few times. Another odd thing that we've been having is we have an entertainment center, and in it are Jeremy's different game consoles and our DVD player. Every day for about the past 2 weeks or so, his Xbox turns on. There's glass doors, the dogs, the cats can't get into it. Nothing should be pushing that button. But he'll come home and the Xbox logo is lit up. He'll turn it off. Next day he comes home, again, it's lit up. We've tried pressing on the the glass to see if maybe the dog is accidentally doing it, but there's no way to cause the door to actually push the button. So we're not sure what's going on with the Xbox. And then last week we had something really weird happen that hasn't happened since, thank God. It was kind of scary when it happened the first time. Last Wednesday, I believe it was, at 4:50 in the morning, our smoke detectors go off. And it's all three of them. There's two down here, one in the kitchen, one in the hallway, and then there's one upstairs in our bedroom. And they all went off at the same time. We woke up, Jeremy went downstairs, didn't see any smoke or anything. They shut off almost as soon as he got into the upstairs hallway, but he still went downstairs and looked, couldn't figure out what triggered him. We're like, okay, maybe it's just a fluke. 5:05 a.m. They all go off again. The one down here, typically once it gets to a certain point, it starts saying smoke, evacuate, smoke, evacuate. It had only been going off about 10 seconds when it started going evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. Wasn't saying the word smoke, and it was saying evacuate a lot faster than it should be. Or more often, I should say, than it should be. But as soon as he hit the door frame for our bedroom, they all shut off again. He comes downstairs again. Nothing's out of place. No smoke, no nothing. So I messaged our landlord to find out if these are carbon monoxide detectors, maybe that's what they were picking up on, or if they were hardwired. There's a carbon monoxide reader down in the basement. That wasn't going off. And our fire alarms are not hardwired. Hardwired means if one goes off, they all go off. These are not hardwired. This is a house built in the 1900s, and he hasn't been doing a whole lot of improvements. And these are just your basic regular fire detector or smoke detectors. There's no reason all three should be going off at the exact same time, especially when there's no triggers. And then there's some other things that have been going on with our altar. All right, if you follow me on Instagram or read my blog, you know that recently I came out as a Christian witch. And one of the things that we do is we have a altar here in the living room. This is our family altar. I have another one up in my office that's more for me and my business. But we've had some interesting things going on with this altar. One thing that happened is we have this little guy. He stands on our little home sign. And to us, it's somebody watching over our home. That's basically why we have him there. He's watching over the home, watching over the family. He's pointed towards the door to watch over who comes over and make sure nobody means us harm or anything like that. But a couple of weeks ago, we got up and all of a sudden he fell down. We have tried stomping, we tried moving the couch, we tried hitting the walls. Nothing was making him fall. And we're not sure why he fell that time. We put him back up, we did all of our stuff, he didn't fall. We go and sit back down on the couch, he falls again. We had already tried slamming the couch up against the wall and everything. We don't know why he fell. We put him back up and he's stayed there ever since. Another odd occurrence that we've had is this feather. Jeremy says he didn't put it here. I know I didn't put it here, but one day it just arrived on our altar. We have no explanation for it. I'm a huge believer in feathers being messages from loved ones, so I guess somebody left it here for us. Someone that has passed on, one of our family members perhaps. Just letting them know that they're watching over us and helping to protect the family. Another thing that we had happen is we had a package of these little sage bundles sitting on top of the shelves over here. And me and Jeremy actually watched one of them come off the bookcase and fall down. No vents are over here to blow them off. And with a package of 3, it would be really hard to blow these off. That kind of confused us because typically when something like that happens, our first inclination is maybe this is time we should burn some sage or something like that. But when it's the sage itself coming off, we're not entirely sure what we should do at that point. But we haven't had that repeated since then. So I don't know if the activity is increasing, like I said before, because I'm home more, so I'm here to see more of it. But on the same hand, Jeremy's working just as much as he did before COVID hit, and he's seeing an uptick in the activity as well. So not sure if that's the reasoning or the spirits are just bored and being a little bit more active than normal. Most of the stuff that has happened is not typical of what normally we expect out of the spirits that we share our house with. These are all the things that are been out of the norm. I mean, we still get the knockings on mirrors occasionally and on the walls that we expect from Al, and the cats still scream to go down into the basement occasionally when they want to go play with Basement Demon. Unfortunately, I still need to get Rampu fixed. The cat's pulled the cord out of the back of him, so we need to get that fixed so he can start turning back on and off again. I mean, that's it for the spirits in the house. Haven't really had Dad stop by lately. Another interesting thing that happened, I tried to film a different video for this week. It was to kick off a series of videos that I want to do where I answer some of the questions that I get asked quite often, or questions that I see often in paranormal groups. Things like what apps to download when investigating, what are the best tools to use, how to cleanse a house, things of that nature. And I tried to record it, and I had my tools out to compare my paranormal tools to some of the cell phone apps that I've seen recommended in paranormal groups, just that way you could see if they're getting the same kind of results as my actual tools do, or if it might be something a little bit more on the entertainment level. Al started coming through my office quite a bit, was very talkative, and I guess he didn't like that I wasn't giving him my full attention, and he kept turning my camera off repeatedly, and I didn't realize it. So I spent 3 hours recording a video only for it to keep shutting off. And I couldn't tell what points it was shutting off unless I downloaded the video onto my computer just to see where it left off. And after maybe the 4th or 5th time that he did it, I was just like, God, I'm done. I'm done filming. I don't want to do it anymore. So just a little bit different video, a little bit shorter. But that is a series that I will be starting up soon. Hopefully next week I'll have the first video if Al is willing to let me actually film the video. I'm also wanting to do lives. I don't know when I'll do my first live yet, but that way you can actually interact with maybe Al if he's willing to come through on the tools. He's the most active, especially with the Ovilus. I'm also going to be checking out some places that some of the readers have suggested, and some of my followers on Instagram have suggested, now that COVID's starting to lift a little bit, I'm going to be getting out of the house and exploring those places. Also, August 15th, I am going to be in Fowler, Indiana. There is a Fright Night at the Fowler, I believe is what it's called, the Fowler Theater. They're having a vendor event. I'll be out there with my stuff. Come meet me, get a tarot reading. I'll have my jewelry, my smudge kits out there. And then afterwards, in the evening time, they're gonna have investigations at the theater and I think the local jail. I'll have all the information down in the description of this box with all the links and everything. There are still tickets available if you want to do the investigations. I'm definitely going to be there, so you can come investigate with me. But come out and say, hey, I'd love to meet y'all. So, again, I'll have all the details for that in the description box down below. And so, that's about it. Just want to give y'all a quick update on everything that's going on. But yeah, if you have any topics that you want me to cover, any questions that you want me to answer, let me know. I'll be happy to do it. But until next week, bye, take care, stay healthy. Missing someone.